Dissolve was a really unexpected success for me. I never dreamed that it would go the places that it's gone, and that it would have the response that it had. It was just, I had something that I really wanted to say. And maybe that's where the best art is created from, I don't know, but I premiered it in 2003 at the Fringe Festival, and thought I would do 6 performances and then just say goodbye and move on to something else. And here I am. I have some shows next week on year 8, about close to 500 shows. Been everywhere from New York City to Haida Gwaii to Charlottetown to New Brunswick to Portland to California. Like, it's really just kind of taken off, and it's all been word of mouth. I haven't done any advertising for it. It's a hard show to market. It's a hard show for me to say, oh, come on down, you'll have a great time. Come and watch this one-woman show on sexual assault. But I think because it's first and foremost a piece of theater, it's had a great response, because I'm not lecturing on safety. I'm not giving a presentation on what to do and what not to do. I'm just presenting a play, and people can take from it what they will. So I've had some amazing responses. I've had standing ovations from priests in Catholic universities. I've had grade 10 classes in inner city schools, just like screaming. I felt like a rock star at times. And then I've also had challenging audiences where maybe theater hasn't been a part of their life, so they're not sure what it is that I'm doing up there. And so I have to introduce them to live theater and live performance, and that it's not a TV. Since I started acknowledging that it was based on my own experience, I then started hearing from more people who told me of their experiences. But when in the question and answer period, when I was asked why did I write the show, I used to lie. And then I finally, after I had an unruly audience, I admitted that it was based on something that I'd experienced, and finally it was quiet for the first time, and people really started to pay attention. And because I was a real, living, breathing human being, they realized that it could happen to them as well. So the show really took off when I started doing that, which was hard for me. It wasn't something I anticipated ever doing. But since then, I've certainly, I don't know if I've done a show since then where I haven't talked to a survivor following. There's a whole lot of survivors out there. Yeah. I was in a unique situation where I had too much work on my hands with Dissolve. So I at first thought that I would make a film version of the play. And when I pitched it to Michelle Porter, who's a filmmaker that I didn't know at the time, I just knew that she was fabulous, she suggested doing a documentary instead. The film answers a lot of questions that the play poses, and the film really is a documentary on the issue. Creating Dissolve would have been the most memorable, because it has been the most, it's had the longest life. I loved getting my acting degree at UBC. I think the program is excellent. I think that this particular assignment is excellent, because I didn't think that I had the capability of creating my own work. I didn't think I was a writer. I didn't think I was a creator. I just wanted to implement other people's work. So when we were assigned the project, I kind of hummed and hawed. I wasn't that excited about it because I was nervous. But it was an assignment. I had to do it. So after exploring a bunch of topics that weren't very inspiring to me, I thought that given what I'd gone through, and given what it seemed like a lot of other people were going through without much justice, I wanted to tackle the issue. So I didn't think the show was ever going to be performed publicly. I just thought, I'm going to get some of my thoughts out on paper here, and so I did, and had about a 10-minute version by the time I graduated. And I thought that was it. I didn't want to touch it again. It was too fresh, and my own experience was too fresh. So I waited a couple years, and it's really hard to be an actor, so I wasn't getting the work that I wanted then. So I thought, no, maybe I'll explore it again. And then I teamed up with Stephen Heatley, who was my professor at the time and still is. He's acting head of the department right now, and he directed the version that I have now, and it's the same version that's been touring. So I will always want to work with UBC alum. I think if I can, I think I will have a loyalty to UBC. It's been very good to me, both as a student and then just with their response and appreciation of Dissolve. They brought me back almost every year now, and I really appreciate it. They're you have to acknowledge what is going on in your community before you can see any change. And UBC is just now very proactive at bringing education and awareness to the campus. So it was a huge honor, and I look at my fellow nominees, and I'm just amazed to be in their presence, and it's just such an honor. Yeah. The main things that needs to be instilled in young people's minds is what is the definition of consent. And that 80% of sexual assaults are acquaintance sexual assaults, which means that the gray area is really big. And there may be some young women who don't realize that they've been victimized, and there may be some young men who don't realize that they have raped someone. And I want to get that message out, and it needs to start young. It needs to start very, very young. And I don't want care after the fact. I want to stop it from even happening in the first place. Because if you're under the influence of anything, you can't consent. And too many young people are waking up ashamed and embarrassed and blaming themselves for something that they didn't deserve. Violence against women is a men's issue. It's a crime that is, for the most part, perpetrated by men against men and women. But I want to see more education, more responsibility put on men's shoulders for something that is, for the most part, their issue. Instead of saying, women, don't do this, don't wear this, don't say this, don't go here. How about, hey guys, stop assaulting women. Stop assaulting people. I know that's bold to say, but I think that responsibility needs to be taken in order for us to see any change whatsoever. And that's, again, why I picked the Healthy Choices for You, because I think that's where we got to start. We got to start young, and it all starts with respect. We need to respect one another. We need to respect our families, our friends, our peers, our teachers. It's got to start early on and really simple. And then more people need to start speaking out against sexualized violence, men and women.